Okay, so a little MIDI file to accompany this particular piece. Of course, it's going to have mistakes in it. There's going to be wrong notes in there. There's also some interpretation errors that this particular score mid program makes. I don't really care about any of that. I mean, every now and then, you hear some wrong notes, you make it, or you hear something that sounds wrong, and then you make a note of it and maybe look at it later on in the file and fix it there. I'm not really interested in that so much as I am in just getting a rough impression as to the structure of the piece. It'll make it a bit easier for me, make it faster for me to create my tick marks as I plan my measure layout, because that's the first thing that I do. I have to determine how many measures I fit into a system, and only when I've done that can I then think about optimizing empty staves and combining staff systems onto pages and so on and so forth. So I'm going to just start playing this little MIDI file. I have Finale running below this window, and I'm just going to assign these little tick marks onto the PDF file as I listen to this particular piece. So I'm going to start playing this MIDI file now. I'm tick mark here. And a tick mark here. Here. And tick mark here. Tick mark here. Tick mark here. And tick mark here. And tick mark here. By the way, I can just play this, stop this playback at any time, and I mean, this of course I've looked at it before, and I just took down when I was going to put my hash marks. Anyway, you can run your MIDI file like that, and when you need to pause it, you pause it, and when you want to go back and forth and cycle through the pages, you can do that, and then you want to continue playing again, you play it again, and so on and so forth. And that's how you can use this MIDI file to work through this particular page. Now, through this particular piece. So let me just close this file right now without changing it, because I have, just to give a quick demonstration of it, I have prepared this file now in advance with all the tick marks. Let me see, let's go for, and that's this particular PDF file. And you can see now, as I go through each of these pages, I've now ticked off where all of my system breaks are supposed to be, or where I want them to be. I want to have a look and see what it looks like, what my measure distribution looks like with these particular system breaks I've indicated in this PDF file. So that's easy enough. Then what I do is actually use a sheet of paper, believe it or not, and I write on the sheet of paper simply the numbers of the final, where I put my hash marks. So I write down 4 and 8, then at 12 and 15, then 19 and 23 and 26, and 30 and 34, and so on and so forth until the very last, which is 181 and 186. So that is the measure distribution scheme that I will want to look at, and that's the measure distribution scheme that I will want Page to generate for me. Now, in order to get that particular process going, I go on to the next section of my flowchart, which involves Microsoft Excel. And on that, I've already prepared this file. It's a simple Microsoft Excel spreadsheet that I prepare for this purpose. And in column B, this particular column, well, I can also I typed all these numbers in from the sheet of paper: 4, 8, 12, 15, 19, 23, 26, etc. all the way down the line to measure 186 was my last measure number. Now you can just trust me on that these are the numbers that I had put my tick marks in on the PDF file. The Excel spreadsheet in this column then calculates how many measures are in each new system. 4 measures, 4 measures, 4 measures, 3 measures, 4 measures, 4 measures, 3 measures, 4 measures, etc. This is the information that the Page program needs, that I can pipe into the Page program in order to say, next file this many measures, next file this many measures. So that's all calculated in this column. It's of course calculated automatically. So let me begin this process now. I'm not going to explain what happens here, but I create certain input files and batch files, etc. in the process, and I invoke this particular VBA macro. Okay, and another bash file runs. They all perform different functions, and I'm back in Microsoft Excel. Now, what my Excel spreadsheet also does is you cannot feed all of these .muse files in with a fixed measure count at once into the Page program, because there is a limit to the number of measure groupings that you can feed into the Page program. So you have to break the information you feed into the Page program into several batches. In this particular case, my spreadsheet already tells me that I will wind up with 47 different .pag files. I can see that from this column. There's a 47 here next to the final measure 186. So I know that with this particular distribution will result in 47 .pag files. But that's too much information to feed in. So I need to break it up into batches, and how many batches I'll need to break it into is automatically calculated in this cell. And it says 3 batches. So now I have a VBA macro in here that this is called Page 3 batches, and it will create these 3 different input batches that will automatically be fed into the Page program. I'm going to invoke that VBA macro now.